I came into Canada as an international student, widowed with 3 children. Here's how we got our citizenship. My name is Vita Okwebo. Ni Enajepo. This is the Widow's Mite. I'm doing a series for international student pathway to Canada. So this video will be talking about how we got our citizenship. Yeah, a retro to the last video about when we got our PR. There was something I missed out there. So for you to get your PR, you needed to do the language exam. The primary applicant for that permanent, since it's a family package. So I came in with 3 children. My children are they're not applying for anything. They are just coming under my wings. So before I was able to apply for that PR, I had to add my IELTS score. But remember, since I already have a Canadian degree, my score was the score could be as low as 5 or 6. So it wasn't like a big deal. So while I dodged the doing the language exam when I was coming as a student, I had to do the exam to get my PR. Yeah. So that settles that part. I just wanted to give that information. So now, after we got our permanent residence on 29th of May 2020, remember I had applied a year before that and took a little over a year because of that glitch that was there about me trying to access eye surgery and all that. Yeah. So for citizenship in Canada, some things that are required before you can apply for citizenship. First of all, you must be a permanent resident. So if you are coming from Nigeria with PR, permanent resident, you have to come in, then you do the physical presence in Canada. That will be about 1,095 days present, or 3 years in the last 5 years before applying. So physical present, there's a calendar. When you start the process, you go and apply. It just takes you to the calendar. You calculate. It calculates. So it takes into cognizance when you landed, what you were doing while you landed. So we landed August 3rd, 2016. So we now became international students. They count all the days. They'll ask you, did you leave Canada for any reason? If, for instance, just another information out here now, as an international student, you cannot leave Canada for more than 29 days at a stretch. So you're bereaved, you have to go home for something. So if you leave for more than those days, you may need to come in to reapply. There's a way it works, but it's not a good thing. No matter what you do, don't leave the shores of Canada for more than those days. Yeah. Okay, so like I mentioned now, there are about 4 things that are required. You need to be a permanent resident before you can apply for the citizenship. So you have to have the physical presence in Canada for at least 1,095 days, or 3 years in your last 5 years before applying. So you've been a student for the last 5 years. Maybe you're doing your PhD. Those 5 years, it should be 3 years of those 5 years. Full, they will calculate the days you leave, the day you come back, and all that. So, but as Nigerians coming in as permanent residents, you must do at least 1,095 days physical presence before you can apply. Then you must be able to pass the citizenship test. Citizenship test is for those between ages 18 and 54. So if you're more than 54, you don't need to do the test. You have to just walk in the park. For those, so the test is just simple. It's 20 questions. You must pass about 16 or thereabout, and there are practice questions online. You register, you do it. It's monitored online. You do it, and it gives you your result and all that. Then, you cannot be under any form of removal order or have any prohibitive criminal history. Yeah, so that's something that as immigrants, when we come here, we need to be careful. You need to sit your children down. I keep talking children because I came with my children, and they were in those ages where it was easy to fall criminal to anything. For instance, an 18-year-old boy is under, even if you're 16, so that in order, so it said not to be under removal order, meaning you've been asked to leave, or being asked to leave means you were out of status. And so, for instance, the students that are coming here, international students are coming that don't pay their tuition, and they miss classes because they haven't paid their tuition. Because if you don't pay your tuition for the last year, you can't go to the new year academic year. They are asked to leave after a certain 90 days of not being in school. You are asked to leave the country. If you have been given that order of removal, you cannot apply for citizenship. Then the final one, like I said, is the citizenship test. That one is for age range between 18 and 54. And it's just learning about the country, provinces, government, language. It's just about Canada. Now, for all that, you get your application forms. Anyone that is 18, they're already 18. They are now full adults to apply for themselves. So all I did, truly, was chase these people. Chase them, I chased. You know, you've come a long way, you got your PR. My phone told Mommy, what's the big deal about citizenship? We have a PR, we're not paying international tuition. I say, yeah, that's true, but there are things that as a citizen, you can do that a PR. For instance, elections, you can't vote. And it makes sense that you have come into a new place. You came in, you know, with international student pathway. You're going to, it makes sense to have your citizenship because it gives you legal right in that country. With PR, for instance, your health card will be renewed every year. But with citizenship, I think it's once in 5 years. So there's an advantage of being a citizen in that place where you have located to. You have decided to stay. So for me, I didn't have to do the language test. I was already more than 54 when I did my citizenship. So I just applied. The application is simple. You go online, your IRCC account. You go click application for citizen. There you drop all your documents in there. Then it will now move you. After you've applied, it takes you into like a calendar account where you see the process. You open that account, it's opened, and then you see every stage. When they open the document, if they need more documents, if there is a hitch, if they are moving, it will show you all like about 8 stages. It shows you language exam taken, test corrected and passed. It checks it. It just keeps checking until you get to the place where it says call to go to do your oath swearing. That's the most exciting news that I got. So for my own, the day I applied, that was June some years back, I don't remember now, but I applied like in the month of June. Unfortunately, I didn't click the send button, the submit. So July, August, I'm like, what's going on? September. So I kept calling, I called my friends, well, at least I go and check the form you filled again. And I checked, and this one was just standing there waiting for me to click submission. So I wasted the first 4 months. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not a waste, it's God's timing. There was really no hurry about it. But it's exciting to see yourself, you know, come to a place as temporary resident. You now became a worker. You now became a permanent resident. Then you became a citizen. The last election, I voted. I was feeling like, oh my God, I'm voting. Last time I voted was back home in Nigeria. So it's beautiful. There for the application process. For instance, you need the application form to start with, and then you get your there's a code that you get. That code follows you from the day I entered this country as an international student. That code followed me to PR, followed me to city. I'll put that same code there, and then from there you now proof of your PR status. You have to add your PR card. You know, get any landing document you have when you came in, and of course your travel documents. This includes passports, how you came into the country, your you know, in the past, even if it's expired, it really doesn't matter. Your passport is needed there, and then the language proof, which is the IELTS or the CELP exam that you did, and of course you have the presence in the country, the calendar, the 1,095 days proof of presence in this country, and then your citizenship fee. At the time we did, it was about $630 per per person, and then if it's a minor, you have a child who is below 18, they're doing for about $100. Then you need photographs. Yes, so Canadian. So after you do all that, the application timeline is usually between 12 months, and but I can tell you that it's even 4 months. Lately, it has really reduced to about 4 months. When we applied, my children applied December. By May 30, they were called to do their oath swearing, and that was because one of them they used each other's numbers for the exam, so they had to cancel the exam and they had to redo it. They mistakenly, it was my error anyway. Now the acknowledgement, once you apply, you get what they call the acknowledgement of receipts, the AOR. That is now the thing that shows that they have received your application. Thereafter, you're waiting in line, you're checking. I love that waiting season. If you don't have any urgency to leave the country, it's not a big deal. Just leave it there. You'll be safe. Once in a while, you go and check it. Then you have invitation to be a citizen. That's invitation. That's the interview. Some people get interviewed, others don't. I don't know why. Then request for more documents if the need arises. I don't think we ever had no. Then the oath swearing. That's now you can go do oath swearing in person or virtually. We all did virtually. Now there's something that happened in our citizenship that I would like to throw out. So last year, I got mine some years before my children. Like I said, it's at their pace. You keep pushing and pushing. I can't do it for you. So for them, we had a need to leave the country last year for my mom's 80th birthday, and we hadn't seen my mom for like 2 years, but she was with us for a while, and there was another function, my niece's wedding in the UK, so we decided that we combined the two. And guess what? My children have been on the queue for the waiting for the oath swearing, for them to be called to do it. Once you do the oath swearing, you can take your form, the receipt, and the certificate of citizenship. That's what you get after the oath swearing. You take it to the Service Canada office and you get your passport. It's instant. Either I want them to ship it to you, or you wait, you collect it after, depends on how. If you're traveling, you have a ticket, an international ticket, they will give it to you immediately. So those options are there. So we thought they would do the citizenship, the oath swearing, and they would just get their passport. Trip was supposed to be 16th of May, and I had my passport. We decided, out of wisdom, I decided that at February of that year, we renew our Nigerian passport. We had applied the year before that, that's 2023. Eventually, we got a date in February of 2024. My children were like, Mom, we don't need the passport. We're going to travel to Ottawa, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, I feel we need to do it. We already got, to get a slot, to get your Nigerian renewed passport done by a birth at the Nigerian embassy at Ottawa, it's a lot of waiting time. So we got a slot. So you know what? Everybody went. My own passport had a hitch. They said I had BVN stuff, and I was like, you know what? You guys can keep the passport. Let me just mind my business as Canadian for now. I'm not ready for that. So I left the passport with them. While the other ones got theirs, within 5 days, they all got theirs shipped to them. So we had the passport, we bought tickets. Now remember, Nigerian passport cannot take you into UK because you're a Nigerian. So I now started praying. I said, Holy Spirit, help me. I don't want to have to lose this ticket because we bought those cheap tickets that you cannot get a refund or rebook. March, April, they are not. I was watching the calendar or their accounts, like I was watching drip, managing drip. No movement. I called them. I was like, and you can't call those places because there's this process. Each time I call, I hear things like, oh, they are still within the time. Meanwhile, I've seen people on Facebook saying they got theirs in 3 months, some in 2 months. So it was now God and I. You know what I did? I sowed the seed. By April first week, I decided to sow a seed in my church, financial seed. I tied it to their Canadian passports. Because it's easier if they had Canadian passports, you just go to UK. But if they don't, we have to go and get British visas for them. So we waited. By April 17th, Holy Spirit said, apply for British visa, UK visas. I didn't listen. I sowed the seed. By April 29th, I respected myself. I applied for visas for all three of them. Now, in Halifax, there was the embassy didn't have, the UK embassy didn't have any openings for interviews. So, they had to go to Montreal. While the one that is in Edmonton, there was interview for her in Edmonton, she did an interview. The ones that went to Montreal, by the 29th of April, they went to Montreal, had the interview on the 30th. And one of them got his UK visa in that same week. They went on Tuesday, by Friday he got his passport with visa. So we're like, oh yeah, the other ones are coming. But the other two, the girls, we didn't see visa. We were praying night and day. In fact, we had a fast, a family fast. And we're supposed to travel on the 16th. By 14th night, FedEx, one of them in Halifax, Mommy, I got the FedEx box. I said, you got your passport with your visa. The other one came 15th, a day to our travel. I have not, my faith had never been so strong, because we would have lost those passports, the tickets, and missing an event like our mom's 80th birthday and a wedding. That wedding was like a reunion. We had not seen each other for up to 10 years. I've not seen my nieces since my husband passed. So that is 2012 to 2023. And God showed up. He showed up. That 11th hour God, he showed up. Yeah, so we got citizenship just on time. And coincidentally, they did their oath swearing again on 29th of May. Just like we got our permanent residency on 29th of May of 2 years before that. So, by then, people, like I always say, this is a help channel. If you have any question, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a document on the citizenship process. I'll just plug it into one of the boxes there, so we'll see it for sure. And then the oath swearing, like I said, is virtual. You are on the oath swearing day, you're supposed to destroy your permanent resident card. You cut it with scissors and show them you're no longer a PR person, you're now a citizen. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal, but it's not a big deal, because for me, like I always say, you come into a place, you follow through. I want to encourage everybody here that there's help in every journey. It's not about widowhood. This is one widow. She's done this by God's grace. It means if you have a spouse, you could even do more. Understand? So have so I will give you tips. I will keep sending out help messages, tips. The whole channel is just about help, finding help and boldly doing so too. And sometimes you don't even need to pay for help. People have gone through every pathway. Just like the Bible admonishes us that there's nothing that is new under the sun. You go to Proverbs. Everything has happened before and it's going to repeat itself. You're not alone in this journey. Surely there's help. This is one woman who God is using to help. I help. I'm excited to help. I'm always eager to tell. This is what I did, or direct you to somebody who may be able to help. Let's not sit in our little corner and lament over spilled milk. We can do it. I've done it before. It is not a big deal. There's help. Yeah. So next video, I'm going to be talking about staying as that's preparing to come into a new country. At some short shots on that, but I want to put some details into what I did. There are lots of things that you can do to survive in this place, and that's when those my survival jobs will show up. You come into a place, you don't just fold your hands and hope. You throw yourself in. You get dogged. You get your hands and fingers and toes all muddy, and do what you have to do to survive. But of course, with wisdom. I always use that word, wisdom. We're not called here by our own power, but it's by God that gives us the grace. So He will give you the wisdom, and of course, as getting the wisdom, get knowledge. So you apply it to do. There are some jobs that till tomorrow I didn't do in this country, because when I even tried, they didn't take me. I pushed, they didn't take me. So I'm like, Holy Spirit is tell, and there's some things Holy Spirit will tell me, I didn't tell you to do this one. So there's help. Thank you again for watching. Please, by all means, share, subscribe to this channel, click the button, the bell, so that when I post new videos, you send to those people. People are always in need. You lost a job, you got bereaved, you went through a divorce, lost a career, we started life in one way or the other. This is a place where you get help. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Widow's Might, a graceful journey. God bless.